Hey guys, do you hear me? I am like a boomer with live streams. I apologize. Okay, hi. I'm just gonna wait 1 second before we get started, just so whoever wants to show up can show up, and then we will get right into it. So there's gonna be 1 minute of me being here and awkward. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, my dog's coming to visit. I guess we can have Biff say hi. Biff, come here. Come here, Doge. Biff says hello. I don't know how much she wants to be here. She looks actively, like, extremely depressed to be here. I feel you, sis. Go live your best life. Okay. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna tweet the link to this. I feel like a grandma when I do things like this. I apologize. All right, so needless to say, I've already seen this apology video. My dog just chose to start drinking right now. That's great. Okay, so let's just get into it. I've already seen it, so obviously I know what we're in for. It's gonna be bad. I think we all know that. Oh, I'd muted her. Makes sense. Does no one else not hear anything? What did I do?
However, I understand that my actions, even over the past few weeks, have not been hand in hand with accountability.
No audio? You guys don't hear anything? Okay. Hi, sorry, I'm an idiot. I apologize for being an idiot. Let's just start this again. This stream is going as well as Tana's apologies go. All right. I want to kill myself. Okay.
First and foremost, I want to apologize for how long this video has taken. There is no excuse, reason, or thing I could say to make that okay, and I want to take full accountability for that. However, I understand that my actions, even over the past few weeks, have not been hand in hand with accountability. That's a journey that I am beginning with this video. I also understand with the white privilege that I possess, I have no right to ask or expect forgiveness from anyone that I have hurt with my actions. Over the past few months, I have seen the explosive effects of what running from your problems can do and how many people you can hurt by doing that. But I'm aware that making this video about my emotions would do nothing but be another selfish and careless action and further the problem. I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart for being such a big part of cancel culture for the entirety of my career. I don't deserve a platform if I continue.
True, sis. Where to go? Can you guys hear me? Because someone's saying I'm on mute. So, this is already tragic. I think we all know this. the fact that okay, so jump cuts, listen, I have no problems with jump cuts. Like, I understand, especially if you're making a video where you don't want to mess up what you're saying, that's fine. But I made this comment to a friend, and I don't know if this relates to you guys, like if it makes sense to you guys, but I was telling a friend that if you turned the audio off on her video and you just watched it without knowing what the title was, wouldn't you think it was a call out video? Like, I feel like her mannerisms are so aggressive that when I watched it, I felt like I had to step back and I just don't know. Like, it feels very aggressive for an apology. And I know that she went on, I think it was either Snapchat or Instagram, and she said that, like, it wasn't scripted and that the reason she was like this is because she didn't want to be emotional, which I understand, because when you cry in apologies, it seems fake. But it's like, if you're showing emotion, like regret for your actions or remorse, there's nothing wrong with being upset at yourself. I'm not saying go on a crying thing, but you're allowed to show that you're not happy with like what you did. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I just thought that was extremely weird. It's definitely scripted. I'm sorry. I needed some liquid courage to get through this. It's definitely scripted because a lot of the terms she uses here, I would like to ask her to define a lot of the terms she uses, because white privilege, she then uses a bunch of other words that I'm not really sure she's completely aware of. And we know that socially she's not a very aware person. Like, if I had to trust someone to talk about politics, religion, I would not be turning to Tana. It truly, that would be the last thing I do. I would rather turn to a mirror. If I want bad advice, I'll just ask myself. But let us keep going, I suppose.
You to act in such a gaslighting and irresponsible manner, and I'm so sorry for how long I've done that. I could sit here and blame it on the people I watched or the people that raised me or the advice that I chose to take, but at the end of the day, I chose to take those paths. I chose to only listen to yes people. I chose to idolize people that taught me the complete wrong way to handle the responsibility of this platform, and it breaks my heart that it took me getting to 22 years old to realize that. With that being said, I want to express my utter disgust with every single apology video I've ever made. I'm sorry for uploading them. I'm sorry for defending them. And I'm sorry for putting them out to such a huge audience. I did nothing but look at apology videos as people digging up my past again. If I'd spent the time I spent pandering, deflecting, making excuses, and spewing ignorance to millions of people becoming a better person, I would be in a far, far better place right now. And for that, I can only hold myself accountable. It is far past the time I needed to own up to my behavior and take 100% accountability for my actions. And if I had wanted people to see that I'd truly grown, you'd think that my
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So first of all, if you want to die a premature death, take a shot every time she says accountability, because I've noticed that she often says, I'm taking accountability, but it's like, taking accountability isn't just you saying I'm taking accountability. Like, you have to show via your actions that you're taking accountability. And usually the best way to do that is by changing your behavior, which I have not noticed a changed behavior as much as potentially worsened behavior. Like, sis was out partying, like what, a couple of weeks ago? She was out partying. So it's like, what changed behavior? Like, you suddenly came to the conclusion that you shouldn't be partying, and that I can't, absolutely not. EJ Hansen, thank you for the $5. This is totally scripted. Somebody did the math and she does a jump cut like every 3 seconds. Hang in there, Mama Glare. The only way out is through. Thank you. I mean, like, I think it's really ridiculous to claim this wasn't scripted because, you know, this doesn't sound like Tana. This absolutely does not sound like Tana. So it doesn't even compute that this wouldn't be scripted. A lot of these words, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know the definition of, or she'll just use them as buzzwords. Buzzwords include accountability,
I believe she'll use white privilege again. I think she'll use just privilege. Like all of these things, if I asked her, what does that mean to you? I just don't believe that she would actually have a response that's not like, haha, that's like so fire, sis. Like she always says the same things. Let's just keep going. You know what? Let's just keep going.
Actions would have been in unison with that thought before this moment. I want you to know I'm aware of that, and I am so sorry for how much of a coward I have acted like. It's inexcusable. It's completely inexcusable. One thing I've learned over this time is the undeniable responsibility that goes hand in hand with a platform of this size. I am so sorry for everything that I could possess all that I have without acknowledging the extreme responsibility that comes with it. I had every single resource to change, and I am so sorry for choosing the wrong route every single time. I have so much work to do on myself to become a better person, and I intend on showing you that with action, education, and time. I don't want to come back to this platform until I am someone that can shape the youth in far better ways than the things I watched growing up shaped me.
I'm sorry, shape the youth? Shape the youth. No. No. You should not be shaping anyone at all ever. That's just it. But the fact that she also kind of blames like what she was watching as a kid for the reason why she's the way she is, which is so ridiculous. Because it's like, yeah, when I was 14, I was watching Jersey Shore. Like, what does that? It does not compute. Like, error 404. No, this is not it. Like, I am not. A lot of this video is her putting blame on stupid shit that just has no correlation with the person you choose to be, because you choose to be the person you choose to be. I mean, as an adult, as a kid, obviously things shape you, but you can decide to amend those things. I just don't understand why it is that everything is to blame, like what she was watching, the people around her. And it's like, have you, like, there's a mirror. Maybe you are the problem. Just an idea. Let me just look at the super chats a second and then we'll get back to it. Emma, she sounds like a robot, like every other YouTuber that's put on the hot seat. She's ridiculous. Thank you for the $5. Completely agree. Gabe Lincoln, thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Jericho Orion, sorry, I hope I didn't mispronounce it. Hey, Miss Claire, I love the videos and love your look. Keep up the good work and stay glam. Thank you so much. Much love from Okinawa. Thank you, Noah Finch. I appreciate the love. And TV Island, she hired someone who worked for Justin Bieber as an accountability coach. I wonder if he put her up to this. Don't get me started to the accountability coach. The fact that that is a thing that exists, like, I don't know how legit that is, but the fact that she hires that, okay. Yes, I also have noticed that she's wearing white. A lot of people are saying that it's like cult leader-ish. You know, I do get that vibe here, the fact that a lot of everything is white and white is associated with purity. I don't know if that was actually a choice. I don't know if her accountability coach told her, guess what, if you look like a cult leader, this will go really well. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't want to be the reason that a young girl grows up the way I did. What would have been vital at that time was to look inside, to ask myself why people were angry at me, go to the root of the problem and find out why I was acting like that, and then educate myself. That's what someone deserving of a platform of my size would have done. The only goal I was taught that I actually internalized was that when I was in the wrong, I needed to make people like me again, versus what I could do to become a person that people actually like. I see so clearly now the microaggressions and terrible values that I was enveloped in for 15 years of my life. I see so clearly now the problem with the things I grew up thinking were funny and the sense of humor I developed. I now realize that the content I put out into the world and who I am has the ability to aid in either positively or negatively shaping this generation. But with all of that being said, there is no excuse for the amount of time it took me when I had every single resource in the world to become a better person in the last 3 years. I had people like Colin Berry specifically call me out and try to open my eyes and make me better. better. But I was so stuck in my narcissistic, egotistical ways that I was convinced I was a good person and had nothing to learn. And to anyone who tried to help me during that time and I chose to look the other way, I'm sorry. Especially Colin Berry, I am so sorry. You truthfully tried, and you would have saved me a whole lot of hell had I listened to you, and I want you to know that I know that and I live with that. I have a lot more.
Okay, it's to be noted that I remember when I watched the video, now some people have told me that she's been deleting comments. Don't know if that's true. When I watched the video, I saw that Colin had commented and Simply Nessa had also commented, and both of them were not happy with the video and were not happy with the way she was, quote unquote, addressing things. So I'm just going to leave that there. The way in which she addresses all this stuff isn't for me to accept because obviously it's directed towards two specific people, Colin and Simply Nessa, but a lot of this video, in my opinion, is just her saying, I should have done better, but I continue to fuck up and I continue to fuck up and I continue to not do better, but then I'm going to apologize and that's it. I'm not going to change my behavior. I'm just going to say sorry, to the point where I think Tana's genre isn't even story times anymore as much as it's apology videos. 1 second. Thank you, Rowan, for the $4.99. Tana, no wants you shaping youth into dumpster fires. True that. I agree. Stephanie Eileen, Tana only did this right now because she wasn't being talked about. Everyone was talking about Shane and Jeffrey. LOL. You do have a point. There's a reason that she's lagged for months, and this is what we come up with. It's quite sad. Sarah K, thank you so much for the $5. Not to mention, she never reached out to either of them privately to clear the air. It's so disrespectful. This is all about saving face, and I strongly, strongly believe that all of this is a PR stunt. Like, I really don't think there's going to be any changes that are going to occur at all. Like, if she were caught partying next week, I would not be surprised. There's nothing that indicates that she's going to improve. And as much as I don't want to cancel anyone, it's like, if you keep choosing to fuck up over and over and over again, at some point people are going to give up and hoping, it's just, it's done. That being said, she could improve. I just don't think she will.
More to say about the Colin Berry situation. I just wanted to say that right then and there because I felt that needed to be said. Next, I want to apologize for every single one of my past tweets. They were incredibly prejudiced, racist, homophobic, and unfunny. It shows how much hate was so clearly inside of me that I thought it was okay, even at that time, to write that out and put that out into the world. And then every time I spoke about my past, I pandered, I deflected, I made excuses, and I was so much more of a piece of shit. And it's crazy that I was trying to convince people I was wrong. And that is exactly how I should have apologized anytime anyone ever questioned my past. As I would grow in my career, I would claim to say that I understood the pain behind these words. I would claim to say that I knew how wrong it was to have said that at that time. But then every time I would apologize, it would be in a way that was so pandering and deflecting. It would discredit everything I had to say. And it's so sad that I was so fucking stupid and couldn't realize that. And then I would proceed to spend the next 3 years in such an unproductive cycle, wondering why these things kept getting brought up. But how could I expect anyone to forgive me in general if my apology wasn't even a sufficient apology? I selfishly decided time and time again I did not need education, and for that I am so sorry.
All right, I'm confused because this video is essentially her saying every single apology I made before doesn't mean shit. It was all fake. I didn't understand. It all meant nothing. But then we're supposed to believe that this apology is real, but none of the others were. So it's like a liar telling you now they're not lying. I don't really understand how this did not compute as really hypocritical, because it's like, if you're saying all your other apologies are bullshit, why would this one be different? And why should people give you the benefit of the doubt if you yourself are saying that? Do you guys get where I'm going here? Like, I'm extremely confused as to what the hell, essentially. Elizabeth AI, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Elle said, she said this would be her last apology, but didn't she promise to make a series of videos? Also, if you look up her lie detector video she did with Shane, she literally admitted to being manipulative. Thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. And I mean, I've always thought she was manipulative, but in a particular way, because there's certain smart people that are good at being manipulative, and then there's people who are stupid, like Tana, who are also manipulative. And I think we know what category she belongs to here. Sophia said, it's so weird how every time she says sorry, she doesn't even blink and shakes. I lost it. And shakes her head. Her body language betrays her. That's a good point. I don't know much about body language, but, you know, it wouldn't really surprise me if all of this were pandering. And that's the thing. She says she apologizes for pandering, but this is pandering. Literally, she's using all these buzzwords that she doesn't even know the definition for. And towards the end of the video, sorry to spoil it if you haven't seen it, she starts talking about voting and endorsing Joe Biden. Now, I'm not going to get political here, but it's extremely random because it's like, why would I trust someone like Tana with like a total of 0.25 brain cells to tell me who to vote for? Like, I like the message of go vote. That's positive, but it's also like, this is not your place. You're a YouTuber who makes storytime videos that are all made up. And other than that, you make apology videos. So I'm just confused as to why your opinion on politics of all things it's interesting. I'm gonna continue in 1 second. XO Irish XO says, you're simply amazing, G. Love your videos. Please keep them coming. Stay safe and smile. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to the cult leader. I mean, Tana.
Clearly, even based on my actions over the past few months, I have so much more growing to do. And I understand anyone who is fed up and tired, sick of it, and doesn't want to be around for that. Had a person of color done 1/10 of the antics I had done in my career, they would not have gotten to act with such privilege in the ways that I did. And to every single person who has called me out on my performative activism, you are 100% right. It is so sad that it took me years to realize that by not apologizing and not taking accountability for my past, but then sprinkling in random acts of justice, that is performative activism completely. You cannot cover up years of damage and being a hurtful person with a cardboard sign and a fucking Twitter name. And again, the fact that it took me this moment in time to realize that is so sad. To take this long to make so many people feel heard while thinking I was doing my justice by posting about Black Lives Matter or Breonna Taylor was performative activism completely. And for that, I am so sorry. I know where my morals lie, but I know that my actions have not coincided with them. I want to be the best.
Performative activism, like Kimberly said in the comments, I don't think she knows what performative means. I mean, I know she put BLM in her Twitter name, so I'm sure she finds herself like the savior of all humans, but she has been performative. And there's a bug that won't go away. I wonder if Tana's attracting it. But it has been performative, and we've all known this. And even the fact that she said, it's so sad that it took me so long, this person, she has a manager. I think like that is what is most incredible to me, is that she has a manager. She has someone who should technically keep her on track in the sense of don't destroy your career, don't be a dumbass, all things that, I mean, have occurred obviously. But I just genuinely don't understand. And I mean, like, performative activism, it's a pretty easy thing to understand. It's pretty much just when you're being activist just as a performance, to virtue signal, to show that you're a good person, but then, you know, you film dead bodies, which I think is a thing that people often forget that Tana did. Tana and Shannon Rose both filmed an allegedly dead body as part of a storytime video. Tana took hers down. Shannon Rose's was up last I checked. And people really, really forget that because she was Logan Paul before Logan Paul and the Suicide Forest thing occurred. So I think people really tend to forget that because it was in the earlier days, but she has done some seriously fucked up shit. Put aside all the stuff that she's done with like Kenza Cosmetics, like selling scams or whatever, and promoting things like EduBirdie, that also, you know, is really plagiarism, and you can get kicked out of school. As someone who used to teach at the university level, I had to report anyone who plagiarized, and they often got kicked out. So like the severity of the things she's done is farther than just like stupid YouTube drama. It's stuff that has real life consequences for people. So I'm just gonna leave that there.
ally, activist, and friend I can possibly be and role model. But acting like this has been the exact opposite of that. I can never even fully resonate with the pain and anger people must have felt seeing that. I have always only judged people based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. But for so long, I thought that was enough, and I realize now that that is not enough in any way. If a person of color feels that your actions were racist or you said something that was racist, it is about holding yourself accountable and expressing to people that you are wrong and you are sorry and that is not who you are. Like, how did I ever expect people to think that that wasn't who I was if I could never be fully accountable until this moment? Next, I want to address the Colin Berry and Simply Nessa situations. Once again, the amount of time this has taken is completely inexcusable, and I take full accountability for that. I let my anger, ego, and pride stop me from doing what was right. And in turn, I hurt and let down and made so many people feel unheard, including Colin, Nessa, and all of their fans. And for that, I am so, so sorry. I didn't know what microaggression was and never bothered to educate myself or see any.
So I'm going to just stop here for one brief second. First of all, microaggressions, we're going to talk about that. Amy Sullivan said, tone or lack thereof, at least she hit the 10-minute mark on our apology video. Thank you for the 10 euros, Amy, and I completely agree. So she's going to start talking about microaggressions. And here I think it's very important to pay attention to what she says, because what she says about Simply Nessa, if you haven't seen this, it's frankly tragic and disgusting, because it's pretty much an insult disguised as apology. Aside from that, also, I do want to underline, when she talks about microaggressions, essentially she says, if someone says you did something wrong, just apologize, which it reminds me, I think it was Louis C.K. had a quote that said, if someone says you hurt them, what was it? If someone says you hurt them, just essentially accept that. You don't get to decide if you hurt someone or not. So something along those lines. I don't know it verbatim, but I think that's kind of what she was going for, but it didn't translate that way. So just prepare for that. It's going to be painful. Amat Gamer says, take a shot every time she says accountability, accountable. Thank you, but someone's going to die if they do that. Miss Faking Fancy Blog, thank you for the $4.99. Elle says, isn't her manager Jordan also guilty allegedly of microaggressions towards Nessa and Colin? I love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have heard allegations that he has been, I don't know if the term discriminatory is accurate, but I have heard allegations that he hasn't behaved appropriately towards them. So that has definitely been out there. I don't know if there's any evidence to confirm. And then Hannah Edge said, I feel like she went on Fiverr and paid someone to write this atrocious apology. It seems like she doesn't really grasp what she's saying. Also love your content. I look forward to it every week. Thank you so much, Hannah. I appreciate it. Someone in the comments, if someone says you hurt them, you don't get to decide that you didn't. I think that's the quote. Yeah, I think that's the quote. Thank you, Undead Necromancer. I'm pretty sure that was it. So I think that was what she was going for, but you guys can tell me if it translates. Thank you, Rat Creations Art, for the $4.99. All right.
Of the validity and the things that were being brought to light before my eyes, because I was so convinced that I simply wasn't a racist person and had nothing to learn. When I first started reading about microaggression, I came across an analogy, and the analogy was that there was an empty plane and two African Americans got on the plane and they sat in the fourth row. Two Caucasian men enter and they sit in the first row of the plane. The plane fills up entirely except for some seats in the back. Before the plane is about to take off, the stewardess realizes that the weight is distributed unevenly and asks the African American men that sat down first to move to the back of the plane. Seeing as they sat down first, it is entirely microaggressive to choose them to have their seats demoted. Even when I was reading analogies like that, I was thinking to myself, damn, I'm not microaggressively racist. I don't know what Colin and Nessa are talking about. I would never do something like that. But then I think back to all of the times that Colin specifically tried to make me a better person, tried to help me understand why I was going through these scandals over and over again, tried to intensively educate me on the pain behind the words that I'd said. And I chose every single time to look the other way, not listen, listen and write him off as someone who was just in my ear and wanted to call me out. I can't even imagine how angry and in awe he must have felt working with me and seeing me think this way. I chose every single time to take the narcissistic route, to denote that I was a good person and I simply wasn't racist, and that's just how things were. And looking back, that is so incredibly microaggressive. The way that I must have hurt him with my actions time and time again is so incredibly microaggressive, and that is not a person that I ever want to be. Even looking back and accepting that truth, that this person perceived my actions as microaggressively racist, makes me fucking sick, because that is someone I never want to be. But in order to say that and have anyone ever believe me, or to even simply just grow, it is about holding myself accountable. As a white person, if a person of color ever accuses you of microaggression, the right thing to do is apologize, because who am I to decide if I made that person feel that way? The fact that I ever thought I could decide that is fucking wrong. And who was I at that time to be writing off anyone as annoying or not a good person? I was so uneducated and had no right to be shaping or in charge of anyone else. And for that, I take.
So, like people in the comments are mentioning, all of these are such massive just buzzwords. Like the way she's just throwing in words, it sounds like word salad. And also, if you ever watch Tana for like a split second, you'll know that this is not her vocabulary and that she probably has pretty much no grasp on anything that's going on. I definitely don't think any of this is genuine, but I just don't know. Hold on, let me catch up with the comments a second. Is she running for president? So wooden and insincere. Kalia 22, I hope I didn't butcher that, says it's crazy people like her never learn or are seemingly incapable of learning from the past and others. She's an untouchable and will one day find out the hard way. Yes, you're the coolest. Thank you so much. And I completely agree. I think that's kind of what scares me about Tana, is that I don't really believe in like, I'm not like a big astrology person or like gut feelings and stuff like that, but deep down, I have a feeling that something very bad is going to happen to her if she doesn't like reel it back, in the sense of like, I know that she's talked about drugs often and stuff like that. And I genuinely fear for her if she doesn't start being, you know, a responsible adult. And it's funny because a few people I've talked to, we all have the same feeling about it. And I don't know, I just think that's really telling. So I hope she wakes up before something happens. Sassafras Sage says agree, she's a heinous person, but what would you like to see from her as far as next steps? Where can she go from here? Love your videos. Thank you, Sassafras. To be honest, I feel like there's a very low bar for Tana because she's been so actively irresponsible, let's put it that way, that her just being not a piece of garbage would be enough. And what does that look like? Well, that could look like dropping the performative activism that she's claimed for herself. It could be not going out to parties during a pandemic. It could be just, I think, being a person who doesn't rely on scandal in order to maintain some sort of notoriety. Like, it truly doesn't have to be some massive action because, like I said, the bar is so low, which I guess works in her favor because she wouldn't have to do too much to, I guess, impress the general public. Does that make sense? So I think it would just be about like her going back to her quote unquote genuine roots. Because if you've watched her for a long time, I used to watch her when I was younger for her story times. And she said that she wasn't going to be like all the other YouTubers. And yet, just saying. Chelsea Gomez says, I feel like she Googled microaggressive and decided to use it 10 times. You do have a point. Exo Irish says, my eyes are rolling so far back into my head. I can see my spine. Tana gives me a headache. LOL, you were doing Lord's work. G, love. G, LOL, XOXO. Thank you. I appreciate it, but I relate. Rat Creations Art says, it sounds like she watched Shane Dawson's video and all the other apology videos and just squished it together. Points were made. Thank you. I completely agree. TV Island, she got this apology from Edu Birdie. Frankly, I would hope that people at Edu Birdie are a little better, but here it is. Okay.
take full accountability, and I'm still sorry. I've apologized for that. I obviously realized that very soon into the trash channel and followed all of my network's protocols to end it properly. There's a lot of hearsay as to how that ended. If at any point people want to discuss it further or want questions answered, I will answer that with receipts and full accountability. I just feel that this video should not be related to anything other than my racist actions and past. It's so sad that I could never say that. I was so unafraid to use racial terminology, but I was so afraid of people calling me a racist. I had so many chances to say all of this before right now. When it comes to the Nessa situation, I feel that it is more complicated, and that is definitely one of the reasons that it has taken me so long to address this, because I haven't really known what to say. However, that is not an excuse, and this situation has gotten completely out of hand, and it is entirely my fault. I could have addressed this like an adult and someone who deserves this platform months ago. I truly feel that Nessa and I had a lot of personal conflict, that we were fighting just as catty teenagers who are 16 and in high school would. At that time, the average 16-year-old girl is going in and out of friendships, is meeting people she doesn't like, is not getting along with people, and that is truly, even to this day, when I look back at the Nessa situation, how I see it. Regardless, I need to be a good example to my followers, and if this person is accusing me of microaggression, I need to hold myself fully accountable and apologize for ever making her feel that way, and let you know that I'm not going to act in that manner in any way for the entirety of my life. But at the same time, if for some reason something like this is ever brought up, it is about holding myself accountable immediately and apologizing. I still want to apologize for making you in any way feel that I was acting like
I'm going to sound like the whitest bitch alive, which is true, but I cannot. What she just said here is so, in my opinion, inappropriate, because it translates as, hey, Nessa, I know I made you feel bad, so I'll apologize because I'm the bigger person, but what we had was just like high school type drama. And it's like, that revokes from the apology though, because it's like, it's the whole thing of saying, I'm sorry you felt that way. It's not like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. It's like, I'm sorry like it's your fault that you felt this way because of my shitty actions. That's not an apology. And it's disgusting to me that she's acting like she's being some kind of bigger person because she's saying sorry, regardless of their high school type drama. Thank you, 418 Lopez, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Okay, let's just move on, I guess. I have to laugh that this is called a long overdue apology, and it's like 14 minutes of her not talking about anything specifically. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that she said, I apologize for all of my racially insensitive tweets. And it's like, first of all, maybe address what you're talking about, because someone who doesn't follow you closely, who's trying to save their brain cells, won't know about those tweets. And second of all, it's like, it's a way of minimizing, because if you talk about what you actually said, like saying the N-word hard R, saying you effing, that is obviously hard to excuse at all. But her not even mentioning that that's what she did, I think, is a way to kind of get people to be like, everyone makes mistakes. And it's like, well, let's talk about what those mistakes were and how many times those mistakes were made, aka over and over again. That's it.
Microaggressive. Who was I at that time to write off if someone was a good or bad person? Who was I at that time to be a bitch to someone else, to be a bad friend, to handle the situation immaturely? There's never a point that I feel I was ever treating you in any way based on the color of your skin. However, if you feel that that is why I treated you that way, again, I want to say I'm sorry and take accountability for the action, because that is the right thing to do. I also completely validate your frustrations, Nessa, seeing me get so many things so easily that were probably so much more difficult or impossible for you. I should have spent the entirety of my career acknowledging the immense white privilege I have had, educating myself on that when people wanted to talk to me.
I don't know if it's just me, but it really sounds like she's being sarcastic when she's like, I should have spent the entirety of my career talking about white privilege. And it's like, nobody asked you to do that. Nobody asked you to become an activist, because truly you should not be an activist, because you need a brain for that. But aside from that, it's also like, nobody's asking you to make these big gestures. People are just asking you to not be a POS to someone you used to be friends with. That's all it is. And the fact that she was like, oh, I so easily got what you could never, or what was impossible to you, whatever she said. Does she realize that that sounds like braggy? That doesn't sound like an apology. That sounds like saying, oh, I've done so much and you've done nothing. So anyway, sorry. Like, no. Oh, God. Okay, let me just check. Thank you, Venus, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Cunty Ratchet, love the name. She sounds like me from 4 years ago in AP Gov, trying to sound intelligent during my mock court case presentation. Love that for you, but I agree, and thank you again. And Venus, thank you for the $9.99 super sticker. Sorry, I'm just checking out his comments real quick. God, I hate it here. Nessie H, yeah, same. It's like she thinks being a YouTuber means being an activist. RPG Lover 13, truly, truly. And it's like, no one's asking you to be an activist. Like, Tana as an activist would be a disaster because, like I said, brain's necessary. XO Irish XO says, it seems like she's trying to play the role of victim, as always. It's using every keyword, though. She's using every keyword, though. LOL, cramming them all in, LOL. I completely agree. It's a lot of words that we all know she has no grasp upon. She says she's sorry and validating her feeling, but still does with her apology. Shaking my head. No lies detected.
About it. I will use this information to fuel a fire under me, to assure that I am a part of the change and not the problem in this industry. When it comes to the anecdotal drama of both of those situations, I will answer any further questions with full accountability and receipts in any upcoming ways that you would like me to. Lastly, I want to apologize to each and every one of my fans for letting you down. People have really been referencing this time as the time they chose to unstand or the time I was canceled for good. But I look back at my values across so many of the things I was doing for the entirety of my YouTube career, and this time has made me realize how skewed they have been all along. Once again, I don't want to make this video about me or my emotions or my family or the way I was raised or that I'm in a dark place right now, because like I've said, I've had the resources to fix all of that for so long and have chosen not to. So it's no longer a feel sorry for me, I was raised in this way, I was this person. It's you should have used all the fucking shit you have to become a better person. And so I know now that when I say things related to my upbringing, I'm not saying them in any type of victimizing way or pity party way, because you should not feel sorry for a 22-year-old who has chosen to not help themselves for so long, you know? But when I look back at the values that I was instilled with and the way that I was brought up and the way that I then went to project that onto the world, it makes me so sick. When I think about a single one of my young fans growing up or acting in the ways that I did, it makes me sick. I am so sorry for thinking for so long that I never had to be a role model. I promise you, for the entirety of my career, I will take that into account with every single piece of content I choose to further make. I want to make a difference in a way that is positive and impactful, not performative and disruptive. At the same time, I fully understand the people that have stopped their journey with me or are stopping here. But for me, this is just a new chapter of my journey with myself and becoming a better person. I still have to look in the mirror, and I want to see someone I'm proud of looking back at me. This is my last apology video ever, and I am so sorry for the fucking hell I've put you through with the
let me just catch up with what you're saying. Gary Pie, girl, use this to buy some bleach for your mind. Thank you. I appreciate it. I need it. K Plamp, thank you for the $24.99. I appreciate it. Monkey wrench moment, fake, 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 beep, beep, boop, boop. That's what I like commented under her video, that it's very robotic. Elle says her apology to Nessa and Callan sounds like Colin. Ugh, mispronounced Colin. Sounds like the apology your mom forces you to give your sibling. Truly, I don't have any siblings, but yep, sounds about right to me. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I mean, the thing is also, like, she's saying that she doesn't want to blame how she was raised, but then she goes into like, oh, with my upbringing. And it's like, well, I do believe that, you know, what you're raised with, what you're around with when you're a kid, obviously that's going to affect you. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But at the same time, part of being an adult is unlearning those behaviors, especially if they are inappropriate, toxic, discriminatory, whatever you want to call them. You need to unlearn that, and that's on you. So I'm sorry, now you're 22. You don't get to say like I was like young and stupid, because frankly, there are plenty of YouTubers who are younger than Tana who still are better decision makers, which doesn't take much. Like, don't film dead bodies, don't drive under the influence of Xanax and film it like it's funny and quirky. Like, these are not difficult things to have a grasp upon. I'm pretty sure a toddler would get it. Toby H, thank you for the $5. And that disappeared. Teehee, love your work. Sorry, it's not much money, but here, ooh. Don't apologize. I appreciate any type of support. Just even being here is a lot. So thank you. Inga Moonchild says that the face though. Azriel, hopefully it didn't butcher it. The internet, it's disrespectful. Tana, to you. She sounds like a president giving a speech at a conference just to keep the public calm. Love you, Blair. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I completely agree. And thank you, BB, for the super sticker. All right. We're almost through it. Thank God. Feels like a year of my life
over the past few years. If I'm called out for something, I will be unashamed of my mistake and hold myself accountable right then and there. I will strip my ego and I will apologize. I will actually mend the problem versus continuing to shove it down further. I don't care if I'm starting every vlog with what I did wrong in the last one and how I'm going to be better in the future ones and what I'm going to do right now with my platform to try to make up for my mistake. I refuse to run from who I am any longer because I see what that can do. If someone is hurt with my actions, I realize it is imperative to make them feel heard immediately. I will make sure to be aware of the privilege I have as a white creator and do everything I can to be a non-performative ally from this point further. I need to continue to focus my energy not on fighting the old, but building the new. While I've worked on ridding so much hatred inside myself, and I know I'm not 2013 Tana, it is so apparent to not only me, but all of you that I have a lot more deep-rooted growing to do as a person. What I can assure you is that every single day I'm taking active measures such as therapy, education, and assessing the character of not only myself, but everyone I am surrounding myself with in order to grow and become a better person. I am so sorry to my fans that I never gave a proper apology to, that I gaslit, and that I chose to not educate. I used such a great platform so irresponsibly in so many ways. I refuse to come back to this channel unless I am changing into a person down to the core that is deserving of this responsibility. The things that go wrong with us in our lives have the biggest potential to become a part of our gift to the world. However, at any given moment, we all have the power to decide that this is not how our story is going to end. I'm starting this chapter by donating to the charities that are listed on the screen and linked below, going out and registering to vote and voting for Joe Biden, and encouraging each and every one of you, if you are able, to be a part of the change that is so desperately needed in America right now. Everything that every single one of us young people do is incredibly critical to our future. Even taking the spotlight off of everything that is going on and talking about myself and what's going on in my life for the past 25 minutes is still not okay. From this point on, I will be using my voice to urge each and every one of you watching and following me to join me in voting to get Trump out of office. The things that he is doing every single day are so incredibly inhumane, and I want to use my voice and platform to let every single one of you know that if you are watching this, that you have a choice to help our future be better, and I want to start by doing that. Thank you for watching.
Ooh, well, we're not moving on to another video. Use all the keywords and hashtags. Beep, beep, boop. Thank you, Monkey Wrench Moment. I completely second that. eHarmony says she could have just had this conversation with herself, to be honest. Yeah, just in front of a mirror. Thank you, and agreed. Alexandra Lame, she took all the time to film this to read what everyone wanted her to say. I agree. I mean, like, I think that's why everyone thinks that this was scripted, because it doesn't sound like her, and it took a fucking 2 months or more. Extravagav says, first live stream on your channel. Love your content. Thank you. I appreciate it. And the Panicking Alien says, she sounds like she was forced to write an essay by her principal for getting in trouble now to present for her class. That is weirdly accurate. Props to you for that. Very observative. Frankly, the thing is, like, I think some of this, and I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion, but I think some of this is like overly self-flagellating. Like, we're not asking you to start every vlog with an apology for what you did wrong the past week. No one is asking you to like whip yourself on camera figuratively. No one is asking for that. Nobody wants to see that. Frankly, I don't want to hear a list of your weekly fuck-ups, because who has that type of time on their hands, first of all. But it's like, making errors is a normal human thing, and everyone does that. It is a different thing to make consistent errors that you decide to post online, no, that you decide to film, edit, upload, and then post, having a manager. I don't understand. Like, no one's asking for this. People are just asking for you to take accountability via actions, not just saying, I'm going to take accountability, accountability. No one's asking you to repeat that a billion times. We're just saying, change your behavior. That's literally it. Even an apology, frankly, if you change your behavior, an apology is due to specific people like Colin and Nessa, but that should be private. But aside from that, if you change your behavior, that's enough of an apology for the general public. Obviously, for private matters, you need to apologize directly. But other than that, I just don't understand why she's turning it into this thing of like, I'm going to start my blogs by apologizing for things. And it's like, if these are the types of apologies you're doing, truly do not. D. Quinn said she could have spared us the cringe, cut her losses, and start a toy channel instead. Love your videos, by the way. Oh God, Tana with the toy channel. That would be something. Thank you, D. Quinn. Thank you, Emily Waite, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Cole Duke says, all she does is list what she did wrong and then goes out and does the same crap again. So sick of empty words. You're right about that. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then Sophia Baltazar says, thank you for suffering through this with us again. LOL, love you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for suffering through it with me. Lord. Sorry, I'm just going to read your comments for 1 second. I'm going to leave the stream up, by the way, just because like I know it's super random and some people didn't have the time to tune in. Y'all notice in every apology video that they're always in a white room. Yeah, I mean, like, I do think that there is some kind of calculation behind what is worn and what kind of room you're in. I'm just saying, I don't know if she has brain cells for that, but maybe someone on her team does. What do I think of all the jump cuts? Frankly, I'm split halfway because I think that if this video came off as genuine, I wouldn't care about the jump cuts. But the fact that she doesn't come off as genuine and then there are the jump cuts, that's what makes me be more judgmental. Because she said on her Instagram or Snapchat, I saw it posted on Twitter, I don't know where it was from, but she was saying that she got emotional, so she had to stop. And I was like, you look like a literal robot. The way she was talking was so robotic that I was like, what emotion? Like, it looked very Karen-y to me. Like she would start crying about wearing a mask or something. So I don't really know what emotions those were. But if she were actually visibly upset with herself, I don't think anyone would be mad at the jump cuts. But it's because it seems so inorganic that then it's like, oh, this looks fake. And then you're cutting it up, which does not help. So that's the tea on that. It was very uncomfortable. I feel bad for Colin and Nessa because they didn't get the apologies they deserved. Ms. Venomania says, it disappeared. I'm the worst. Take care of yourself and make sure to drink water. I shall. Thank you very much. TV Island says, I do hope she does change for the better. Frankly, I do too. And like some people have said that it's stupid, that I actually kind of hope that she does change. But I think part of being actively against cancel culture isn't to not criticize or critique people, whatever term you want to use, but it's more of a question of having some kind of hope that someone's going to improve. That being said, if someone does not do anything in years, because it's been years that she's been pulling this shit, if someone doesn't do anything for years, my hope that they're going to improve just keeps dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. And at this point, it's just kind of like, do I still have anything to hang on to? Is there something? No. At this point, I have to say no. Sorry, I'm just checking that I'm not missing anything here. I also don't understand why she got political. Frankly, I don't know why she did that, mainly because it just seems kind of out of place in this video. Like if she wanted to talk about politics, that's completely fine. Everyone's entitled to do whatever they want. But in this particular video, it's like, I thought this was supposed to be for your apologies. And then I started thinking, oh, are you trying to bring in politics to kind of make you seem some type of way? I don't know. I just thought that was extremely random. And I don't know what the point of that was, especially because realistically, does anyone here look at Tana to be like, yes, I want her to talk about politics because I trust her opinion on things? I would be surprised if she knew anything about politics. And that's not even me taking a stance at all. It's just kind of like, it would be like me talking about accounting. Why would I do that? I don't know anything about accounting. Equivalent. Julia N says her messing crying apologies seem more genuine. At least it looked like she cared. Points were made. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for the $4.99, Julia. I appreciate it. Do we want her to talk about anything? A sprinkled donut? No. I like silence. I really, really like silence. Yeah, I do think she was probably, like, she said that she had been pandering prior, but this is probably one of the most pandery videos I've seen. Like, if we ever had to say anything about virtue signaling, like if someone asked me to define virtue signaling, I would just send them this video with no context because it's not needed. It's I just truly don't know what all of this is. It's truly tragic. Sorry, I'm going to read your comments 1 second and I'll get back to you. Evil Betty, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Lily T said, Smokey Glow reached out to Nessa and Colin and found that she didn't speak to either of them before uploading, so I don't think it's an actual heartfelt apology. Doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't seem like a heartfelt apology no matter what. Like, truly, I've seen goldfish with more emotion. Mudblood Slytherin, it says, you're part of the 10% of humanity that gives me hope. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I also very much like your name. XO Irish XO said, you look absolutely beautiful today, by the way. Loving the hair. Please go live more often. So much fun, XO. Thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. I appreciate it. I'm going to be on for about 5 more minutes, and then I should probably go because I don't want to start rambling. Let me just see what's going on. I'm just reading your comments. Sorry if I'm just silent for an instant. Lean Arj, ARJ, sorry if I mispronounced that. I've noticed you. Hello. Tana doesn't understand how racist she's really been, not because she's white, but because her head is full of air. Shots fired. Shots fired. Same thing Jeffrey did. There are more important things happening besides me being racist. Yeah. Oh, I can't get started on Jeffrey. I truly do not have that kind of, I need something stronger than this if we're going in that direction. I have a horrible feeling she'll succumb to the Hollywood lifestyle. I mean, to be frank, I do think she's already given into the Hollywood lifestyle. Someone asked Imani McCune, goldfish like the fish or the cracker? I don't want to say the cracker because I think the goldfish, like an actual fish in a bowl, is still smarter than Tana. So a goldfish, an inanimate thing that people eat and then poop. Sorry, I just want to keep up with all that's being said. Honestly, I just want to see what occurs from here on out because I don't know where this goes. You know what I'm saying? Because she says that she doesn't want to do more apology videos, but then she says that she will apologize at the beginning of all of her vlogs for everything she's done wrong in the past week, which in and of itself is an admission of guilt because if you have to apologize weekly for fuck-ups, rough, dude. So I just kind of wonder what kind of content we're supposed to expect here, because first of all, I mean, I guess if she has a team, she can hire a writer to write her fake storytime videos about, you know, things that never happened. But aside from that, I don't really know what she's gonna do. And I know that she loves drama. And I know a lot of people were telling me, don't give in to, you know, like this is what she wants. But I think one thing that's very important to address is that I like watching train wrecks. I have channels that I specifically only watch to watch the train wreck. You know, people who are just consistently a mess, but you're kind of like, I want to watch something that doesn't engage me in my brain at all. Kind of like why people watch, you know, trash reality TV. Like I rewatched Jersey Shore a couple of years ago simply for that reason. So like that's why I'm watching it. I don't get anything from it. I don't learn anything. Well, I learned that I hate certain things, but I don't get anything from it. But there's just something about it that you kind of come out of it thinking, you know, I may have fucked up a lot of things in my life, but I never filmed a dead body like Tana did, for example. So Holly Owen says, I have lockjaw from cringing so hard at her apology. Thanks for all you do. I'm so sorry, Holly. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. But take care of your jaw. I feel that. I feel like I'm tense every time I watch any of her stuff, to be honest. Also, allegedly, I have heard allegedly that no one from the trash channel was actually paid. So I don't know what's going on with that, but so, okay, this is the thing that people don't know about Tana that I constantly bring up, and I feel like an ass because I'm constantly bringing it up. But Tana did film a quote unquote dead body. I can link the Shannon Rose video because Tana posted a video and Shannon Rose posted a video. This was a couple of years ago. And Shannon's video is still up. But pretty much they went to the beach together. They opened a bathroom, a public bathroom, and they found a guy pretty much just lying there, and they didn't know if he was dead or whatnot. And so they called the authorities, and then they filmed the authorities showing up, and then we never find out if he's dead or not, but they assumed that he was dead and decided that that was a good idea to film. To be noted, Shannon Rose is far older than Tana. So like, even if we're going to go with the typical excuse of Tana was so young, whatever, she was with an older person who should have known better. So like there's no excuse whatsoever, but I know a lot of people like throwing out the, well, she was this age, and it's like, well, who cares? Like no, like I don't know anyone that would think, yes, let me film a dead body or a presumably dead body. Like I truly do not. So that is what it is. 10-year-olds know better. Thank you, Maxim. I completely agree. I completely agree. Babe, where's Biff? Is she okay? Okay. Anyway, bottom line, apology was terrible. I would say a good 0 out of 10. Maybe the negatives. I didn't really get the apology there. I didn't get the apology vibes at all. Ninja says, when Tana Mongeau said that this will be her last apology, homie, stop lying. Thank you for the $5.99. I completely agree. This is definitely not going to be the last apology. I'm going to call Biff over, and then I shall say goodbye. Biff, come here. Biff's fine. She sometimes sees her own reflection and thinks it's another dog and starts barking. It's a thing. Hello, my little dude. Here she is. Here's the Doge. Yeah, she looks enthused about it. I will leave you alone. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I can always link the Shannon Rose video on Twitter if you guys want to see it, because I know that like a lot of people haven't really seen it. Also, because Tana took it down. Wonder why. That doesn't scream guilt at all. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I might do this more often if it's your cup of tea or shot of vodka, which frankly might be needed after that. And I'll catch you guys next time, but definitely feel free to let me know what you guys think on Twitter as well, because I tried to read most of the comments, but obviously I missed some. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my video tomorrow.